and welcome to this extra special rushed out episode of Musicals with Cheese. I am joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Andrew DeWolf. How are you doing, Andrew?
Oh, I was doing just great until this came up. My goodness.
We have an announcement for you. Our
A
podcast,
special announcement.
a special announcement. Our podcast, which you know you've enjoyed in one part every week, will now be released in half segments every other week. You
Yeah,
know,
instead of a mid-show, we're just gonna cut it there. If that we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do two.
Yeah, the
Just
first week it's gonna be all us talking about it. Then where the mid show is, the episode will just end, and then next week we'll talk about the songs.
and if you think about it, you're actually getting more content because even though it's the same amount of content, I mean, it's twice as many episodes,
Yeah,
really.
so Andrew, Bree, and I, and all the casting crew pledge to create nothing less than an experience that honors its foundations for all of our fans who've waited for our podcast, and to offer a thrilling, fantastical world of dynamic podcasting that invites all those who are unfamiliar.
Sent from my cheese phone.
All right, so literally about an hour ago, John M. Chu, the director of the upcoming Wicked movie, announced that the Wicked movie, which has been in development hell for nearly 20 years, nearly 20 years, is not being released as one film, but two. Andrew, why don't you just read
Yay.
the press release? Or how about I tell the full story? So, around, I want to say 10 a.m. today, John M. Chu tweeted "Good morning" with a green vial. And do you remember the green vial in the Wicked musical?
Yeah,
It's what the wizard used to date rape Elphaba's mother.
I
You know,
remember it
kids musical. And then
for
an
children.
hour later, he says, "So there's something I have to tell you." ... in a very Trumpian manner. And then special hashtag Wicked movie announcement. Peace sign. Director's clapper. Witch broom. Poppies. Green heart. Sent from my Oz phone. And Andrew, why don't you just tell us what that says?
Oh boy. So you just want me to read the release here? Is that?
Yeah, yeah. No. This is a letter sent from his Oz phone. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Press release.
right. This is the Oz phone, sent from Oz phone. All right. I think I'm gonna try to read it as initially how you're supposed to interpret it, which is special wicked announcement. Thank you for all the support these past several months in anticipation of the Wicked movie. We have so many exciting things to share, but for now I'm giving you one, or rather two. Here's what
What?
happened. As we prepared the production over the last year, it became increasingly clear that it would be impossible to wrestle the story of Wicked into a single film without doing some real damage to it. As we tried to cut songs or trim characters, those decisions began to feel like fatal compromises to the source material that has entertained us all for so many years. So we decided to give ourselves a bigger canvas and make not just one Wicked movie, but two!
What?
With
That's not
more
allowed.
with more space, we can tell the story of Wicked as it was meant to be told, while bringing even more depth and surprise to the journeys of these beloved characters.
Oh, oh boy. Oh, great. Continue, please.
Cynthia, Ariana, and I, and all of the cast and crew, pledge to create nothing less than an experience that honors its foundation for all the fans who have waited for this movie, and to offer a thrilling, fantastical world full of dynamic characters that invites in those who are unfamiliar. So get ready, because Wicked is finally coming to you on successive Christmas
A
holidays
full year, guys.
beginning December 2024. Until then, I will be keeping you up to date throughout rehearsals, the shoot, and even editing. Here we go. Hashtag Wicked Movies.
Send from my Oz phone.
Sent from my house phone.
My
Remember
God.
when they did The Hobbit in 3 parts?
Yes, you know the shortest book of the Tolkien thing in an entire trilogy for no reason. Everyone
Yeah, you
loved
remember
that.
that? That was really good. Everyone really enjoyed that and was very
Hmm.
popular, successful change.
So Wicked's a pretty short musical as far as musicals go. Let's be clear. It's like an hour and 40 including intermission. And unlike most musicals which have the structure of like basically two complete halves, Wicked actually has a three-act structure that suits a movie with very few changes. Were we really that afraid to cut the fucking goat song? Really?
They didn't have to cut anything. I feel like they could have just done all of it. I mean, how long are movies nowadays? Like 3 hours, 4
The
hours are like the
Batman was 2
general.
hours 52 minutes. People sat through
Yeah.
that. I sat through that.
It's like I don't like that, but obviously it's widely accepted and you can do it. So are we really, and this is my worry, is this gonna be 2 3-hour movies?
That is the question, Andrew. So Twitter, how do you think the reaction would be to this? Because you've seen Wicked, you know what Wicked is like and what to expect from that show.
Overwhelmingly negative, although I haven't actually looked.
Yeah, Twitter is not happy with this. My initial reaction was guttural, like disgust and what? Why? How? It makes no logistical sense to me in any way aside from, well, this will make money. Now, let's talk about the studio producing the Wicked movie. Do you know who it is?
I can't say I do. My
It
guess would be like
is
Warner Brothers, but
No, 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 sir. Au contraire, mon frere. It is Universal Pictures. You know, the studio that brought us such musical hits as Dear Evan Hansen and Cats.
they don't like musicals, do they?
I think
They
they
they're like
just
trying to kill the genre. They're like, if we just make enough bad ones in a row, no one will ever want to watch one of these again.
maybe, but they've had the rights to Wicked basically since it came out because I think Universal were co-producers of the original stage show, so they had first grabs at the Wicked movie. And like on the Universal backlot tour, they've had a poster for Wicked, like we're gonna do the Wicked movie, promise, one of these days, ever since like 2003. So this is a big thing coming. They know when this happens, it'll make oodles and doodles of money, right?
Yeah, so
And
they're
I
just
don't
like,
think
what
they're
if we
wrong.
did it twice?
Yes. Yeah. Wicked is a very simple story. It's about a girl that like gets corrupted ish by the media and then, is viewed as a villain. There's not much to it. It's a novelty show with some good pop songs.
I mean, honestly, the reason it's good is that it's so simplistic. It's very easy to get into.
Yes, it is a very easy watch. And we liked John M. Chu's other musical from last year, In the Heights. We thought he did a pretty good job with the movie musical there. And when I
Yeah,
heard he was directing Wicked, I'm like, yeah, that works.
I want to say I do not think that this is the director's choice. I
No.
am absolutely certain. Obviously, the director's not going to come out and be like, "This is an awful decision, but I have to do it." You know, they have to they have to do this, you know.
Okay, I'm confused. All right, so let's look at the song list in Wicked. So, do you remember most of the songs in Wicked? I'm
I remember a
assuming.
lot of them, but I don't know if I could say most. I mean,
Like Wicked, I feel like it's pretty top heavy with songs to begin with. Like, so we got No One Warrants a Wicked, which opens the show. It's a big
yep.
like she's dead and all that. Then we have Dear Old Shiz, which is easily cuttable number. Like it's just a transition so that the girl that plays Elphaba has time to change into her school outfit. That is why that song is there. It is serving a functional use.
And that's if you even need to cut it because again, this is not even that long.
No, it
You
isn't.
don't even have to cut the songs. You
Okay.
honestly could do all of them.
You really could. Les Mis did all of them, and that movie made a good amount of money for its budget.
Yeah, but yeah, there are songs like you could cut that if you really are like, man, this has to be a short movie. Like, okay.
But even looking at this, The Wizard and I Keep It, I Want Song, What Is This Feeling? Fun song. Something bad, plot song, the kind of boring, change it to dialogue, fine. Dancing Through Life, keep, popular, too iconic, I'm Not That Girl, need it for the Eponine. One Short Day. Like, what songs are they thinking about cutting is my question. That is so fundamental to the structure of the show. Because what is his exact words? It became clear that it would be impossible to wrestle the story of Wicked in a single film without doing some real damage. I can see a lot of things going without damage being done, to be honest. Cut the Wizards 2 songs, even though Andrew loves them for some reason.
I thought they were fun. I don't even see why that's even necessary. Movies are so fucking long right now.
And people still go to see them.
Yeah, it's like the movie, like I understand why a movie would be longer than a stage show because you can like film transitions and stuff that you don't really do on a stage show.
Yeah.
And but really how much longer? Like even if it's an hour longer, it's still like shorter than Endgame.
I don't think it would be stretching to even call it an hour longer. So we have to wonder, what are they doing? What do you think they're doing here, Andrew? I know the point that we're making is they're doing this to make money, which yeah, we all see the big red flags there. But what happens in the first act of Wicked? She basically goes with Elphaba to Emerald City, finds out bad things are happening to animals, and then she finds out the wizard's behind it and then takes off. Second act, she reconciles with that. That's it. That's the entirety of Wicked.
Yeah,
And
which those are not independent stories, really.
no.
So it's gonna really ruin the structure to split these apart.
Yes. Now, let's say another musical, which I think would have been benefited for something like this, is Into the Woods. Into the Woods are two complete full stories that would have actually been very effective as two separate films, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that
I
because
could at least understand the argument.
in like a typical musical with just two acts that is on the longer side, sometimes they are kind of unrelated to different stories or stories that are related to each other but not necessary to tell one after another, really. I could see that as a movie being split up. This I can't really.
No, it's because Wicked in its conception feels more like a film in its story narrative. Like you got a very front-loaded act 1 and 2 and then a really rough third act like that kind of gets you right to the end. Which is kind of the problem with Wicked, the stage show. And I brought this up in a conversation I had with Emily and Christy that the problem with Wicked as a musical is it doesn't have the structure of a musical. It has a structure of a movie. And now we're turning into a movie and we're turning into a structure of a stage show. What the fuck are we doing here?
Well, I mean, the integrity of the show needs it that way. And you know what's going to happen too is Act 1 and 2, as you're saying, are
Yeah.
going to be the first movie, and then Act 3 is going to be the second movie.
That's the
Right?
baffling part.
I mean,
Yes,
that's what they're going to do.
that's in theory what they're gonna do,
There's
but
absolutely no way they're not going to end the first movie with Defying Gravity.
right. And now the question is, are they just gonna add a bunch of new shit to Act Two and make it its own thing where they have a new narrative and include all the songs and then because the only part that anyone really likes about Act Two of Wicked is post Elphaba meeting up with Fiero and all that. Maybe they're gonna expand out the Wizard of Oz section where they like show. Oh, that might actually be what the fuck they're doing now that I think about it. Holy shit! Now talking it out,
Yeah,
they want
but
to remake the Wizard of Oz and have the Wicked side of it because that is not done in the stage show. You know that's what they're doing.
I don't know that's what they're doing. I would say that is what they're doing if it was by the people that made Wizard of Oz the movie, but how are they going to do it? You can't, they don't have the rights.
Let's think about this. The Wizard of Oz stories, the actual wonderful Wizard of Oz tales, are in the public domain. Anyone can use them. They cannot reference the MGM film, though. That is
Yeah, but
the
when
thing.
people say remake the Wizard of Oz, they want
What?
the Wizard of Oz songs.
But they got the Wicked songs.
That's not they're not the same songs.
I'm just telling you what I can see this argument.
Look, I don't know. I don't like this at all because even if it somehow ends up being good, I think it's just a bad precedent.
It
And they've
is.
done this before, like that Harry Potter book that they split into two, which they should not have split into two. And then I think with that one, you ended up with like one movie that was just like padded and boring, and then the other movie was like all of the good stuff.
Yeah. But which side is going to have the good stuff in this one?
Probably Act 1.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you think that Act 1 is just basically going to be the same?
Act 1 has too much actual stuff and like popular songs to really change anything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all the big famous ones in Wicked are in Act 1, like Popular, Dancing Through Life, Defying Gravity. You have the ones that people know, like For Good and all that in Act 2 and No Good Deed, but they're not like the heavy hitters. And they've already said, Steven Schwartz, that he's writing new songs for the Wicked movie. That's been said for at least 5-6 years now.
I don't know.
The only opportunity I see here is them implementing the Wizard of Oz story into it and showing the Wicked Witch her side of that, because that is something of a wasted opportunity from the stage show that they don't interact, at least from the mind of, say, a person that loves money and Universal.
I could see the average moviegoer wanting to see that.
Dorothy and the Lion and the Tin Man and all that shit in a more fulfilling space.
Because they don't really even show up at all in the stage show. They're just kind of referenced.
Yeah, so I imagine that's what I think they're doing, and I don't like me like trying to unpack this is not me saying I like it. It's me trying to understand the mindset because up to this point I was just so confused.
I mean, I had that thought that that might be what they'd go for. I don't think I want to see that.
No,
if you look at the story from like what actually matters to the story perspective, that doesn't add anything at all other than just like remember this?
Yes, it'll be the Avengers Endgame of musical theater movies.
Yeah, it's just
Not
like,
not in
"Remember
a
Wizard of
complimenting
Oz?"
way.
Like, "Yeah, I remember Wizard of Oz. Cool. I
But
thought you were doing something different."
we should talk about the fact that the Wicked musical is based on a book, which is decidedly a very, very, very different piece, a different beast altogether than the Wicked musical.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask.
Mhm.
Are they basing this on the book more than the show? Is that what they're
No.
saying?
No, I do not believe that's what they're doing. Other people are suggesting it, but I just don't think that's what's gonna happen.
'Cause does anyone even care about the book at this point?
There are some fans, but it's just a very political story, very overtly sexual. There's like an animal orgy scene, like Elphaba and Glinda make out. Like it's much more implied that the wizard raped Elphaba's mother. Like there's some
Well, I
real
mean,
weird
that's a
shit
lot
in
of stuff that you really can't cut from the story, I mean,
there.
without a fatal compromise.
That's the things that he's like, "Oh, we need the animal orgy. Come on."
It's like, well, they cut it from the stage show, so
Yeah, it's the politics of Munchkinland, which yeah, that is a big part of the book, and it's not good. The book isn't good, guys.
I
I
guess
know a lot of people like it, but
my full thought here is just even if it ends up being good, I'm still gonna be disappointed because 'cause I'd rather just have 1 good movie than
yeah.
2.
The thing it'll be like it and It Chapter 2, where we everyone kind of liked It Chapter 1, the first one, and then the second one was just kind of hot garbage, and now
Yeah, it's like
no one watches either.
I just don't quite understand why, like, in It, they didn't just do 1 movie.
I almost understood in It because It is kind of broken up into two distinct sections in a way. I almost understood that argument.
The problem is that the 2nd section is just bad,
Yes,
and that's why the 1st movie is good and the 2nd movie isn't.
but have you watched the first It movie since that second one came out?
No, I haven't.
No one has, because that second one ruins the first one retroactively, and I think that's the situation we might be in here.
Mm, well, I know that I watched all 3 of the Hobbit movies,
You
and
did?
yeah, and I was hugely disappointed, and I was just like, "Man, if this was just 1 movie, it probably would've been good."
I gave
So
up after the second one. I'm like, I'm done. This is bad. This is a bad experience. So, how long do you think each part is going to be? Do you think they're going to be their own like 2-ish hour movie, or do you think they'll give us a tight 90 minutes like Sonic the Hedgehog?
well, that's my real worry. Like, movies are kind of expected to be, like, at least 2 hours at this point, if not
Yeah,
more. Like, when was the last time, like, a big movie came out that was 90 minutes long?
Sonic the Hedgehog probably. But then
Okay.
the sequel is like 2.5 hours. Everything Everywhere All at Once was like 90 minutes, and that felt great.
Sure, sure, but that wasn't like a
No,
that didn't even get, like, a full release, did it? It got, like,
yeah,
a
it did
Nichols
eventually.
it did eventually, but it didn't
Yeah,
at first.
yeah.
Um, so they're saying that they can't fit it all into a 2-hour slot.
Which is a lie. That is a lie, fundamentally.
Well, yes, but they're saying that's the case. So does that mean that they have like 6 hours of material and we're gonna get 2 3-hour movies?
Ugh.
Because if that's the case, I might not even wanna watch this shit.
Andrew, we have to for content. You
Oh,
know
but
we're
like
gonna fucking watch this if we're still doing this show somehow in 2024.
movies have just gotten bad. What happened to movies?
You know what movie I watched recently that just reminded me of how good movies used to be? The Quick and the Dead, which was a film that was a flop and got bad reviews, and I'm like, no, this movie's fantastic. And they just didn't understand good things when they had it back in the day.
I mean, there's still like good movies that come out, but like it feels like big budget, like triple A type movies or whatever they call them in the movie scene. They're all just long and bloated and padded and like, can we just tell like a story?
You know what movie definitely tried to tell a story, but you know what? We just decided not to accept it, Andrew.
What's
Dear
that?
Evan Hansen. They just wanted to tell a story about a little boy that told a lot of lies.
Okay, on the real though,
Yeah.
Dear Evan Hansen, they got to fit in 2 hours.
Yeah.
How the fuck could you not fit Wicked in 2 hours?
They got Les Mis to fit into a movie that made money.
Yeah, you cannot tell me that Les Mis has less plot than fucking Wicked. Have you seen the book Les Mis? It's a fucking encyclopedia.
Yes, I have. I read it when I was in high school because I
The
hate
thing is
myself.
like this fucking big,
It is. It is. You're
and they
not
fit that
wrong.
in one movie.
Wicked is just so important, Andrew. Like the good girl becomes bad, and then green, bad green girl.
Yeah,
Are they
for
gonna
sure.
cut out all the Bush era politics?
That would be nice. I'm sure they'll just replace them with Trump era politics, but
Biden era politics.
whatever.
The Oz gas prices are too high because we're at war with Hogwarts.
Bruh.
I'm just so deeply baffled by this decision, and it's like I don't understand any net positive of this because I feel like the second one's probably gonna get canceled in between, or an actor is gonna get canceled in between.
Or even if they're both good, if I want to watch Wicked, now I have to watch 6 hours of content.
You're right. Okay, that is a good point. If I want to tell my friend how great the musical Wicked is, and the only way I can legally show them a good version of Wicked is going to be a 6 hour, 2 part fucking event movie, what the hell?
It's like, all right, well, I could have showed them like an hour and a half movie. They probably would have enjoyed that. But now they're like, oh, let's make a goddamn event and stay up all fucking night and watching like Lord of the Rings.
Do we want the musical equivalent of Lord of the Rings? People can't even handle watching The Sound of Music once a year, and that has
Also,
an intermission.
Lord of the Rings, if that came out now, that would have been like 9 movies.
Yeah.
They made every single one of the Lord of the Rings books, which are thick books, into one movie each. So don't say that Lord of the Rings or whatever, oh, they did it. Because each one of those movies is only one book. So, you know.
And each one of those movies made a lot of money at 3 hours in length, which is also important to clarify. 3 hour movies make money.
Okay. I don't know. This is an annoying one. I don't like this. I feel like there's no good reason for it other than just they think they can sell it twice. Like they just think, oh, we can sell this movie 2 times.
Yeah,
So
I have no answers. I just confusion, just overall confusion. Andrew, what would you do if you were the director of the Wicked movie and the studio comes to you saying, "Hey, this is our last musical tentpole we own. The last two we held on to really blew up in our fucking faces."
I know what's a good idea. We'll fucking do something that will get a ton of negative press and nobody will be like will like. That'll really sell this third one that we have.
Yeah, it's the last one, I think. It's the last musical they own. Like, because they held on to Cats forever. They got Dear Evan Hansen when the iron was hot, and they've had Wicked forever because every time they've gotten a director, they've quit or whatever the fuck. This movie was thought to be cursed for so long, Andrew.
Well, apparently they were right because, now it's 2 movies.
Uh, do you know anything about the casting choices that were announced like a couple months ago?
No, I don't.
It's Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
And people were like very against Ariana Grande, strangely.
I'll
When
be
she
honest, I don't know enough about Ariana Grande to have any opinion.
Well, they're like, she's a pop star, and then other people tend to forget she got her start at a fucking Jason Robert Brown musical, and then after that, she was on Nickelodeon doing comedy for 10 years. Like, she has both acting chops and stage chops, and then she also just became super popular. So if there's anyone to do it, it should be fine that it's her.
Also, being a pop star and being in Wicked are not like
That's a good thing. That's a net positive.
yeah. Isn't like one of the Wicked songs like literally just a pop song at this point?
Yeah, it's popular. Ariana Grande did a cover of Popular, and yeah,
Okay, as long as you can emote while you're singing, I think you're okay.
yeah, I think so too. I was actually pretty excited for this movie, and really, this dropped my excitement to the fucking down below dinosaur bones.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought that this could have been good, and now I'm just like, this is just gonna be a fucking slog, isn't it? It's gonna be like padded to shit. And
I can't imagine what they could do to the first act to make it longer, or are they just gonna create a new second half of the movie
also, how is that first act gonna like resolve?
with Defying Gravity and her running off, and everyone? It's gonna have Empire Strikes Back, and it'll say continued in part 2 or some shit like that. I can see it right now.
Yeah.
It worked once, guys. It literally only worked once. It has never worked again ever since.
Also, what if the first part is bad?
Yeah, big what if there. Are you
Like
gonna
the first
dedicate?
part is bad. Are we gonna have the second part? Is that just gonna be gone, and then we're gonna have half the Wicked movie?
What if it's like Morbius level bad? where they we got Michael Keaton, we're gonna have him fight Spider-Man. The movie's just so terrible, so unwatchable. Like if it's Dear Evan Hansen level of meme quality terrible.
They're probably gonna film both the movies at the same time, so they might just put
Yeah.
it out anyways, but
Direct to HBO Max or whatever the fuck, or direct to Peacock.
well, I have no more to say. I've expressed all of my opinions on this. This is a
Alrighty.
bad decision. That's all I've got.
What is your guys' thoughts, though? Let us know over on our Twitter page at Cheesy Musicals. And you know what? Later this week, we got a pretty fun episode coming out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. So we'll see you again. You got a little extra. You got a little extra salt on your taco this week.
I'm salty, all right.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated on more Wicked news on this Wicked channel. All right. Okay.
Maybe we can get the Sonic thing happening. Everybody hates this so much they don't do it.
That was the thing I wanted to bring up. Like, do you think we could get them to undo this with like enough social media backlash? Because I don't want this. Nobody wants this. No one was like, oh boy, great, more Wicked.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew. Andrew's tired. We gotta let him go to bed. He gotta have his little anger boy nap.
Hopefully they don't follow through with this, but I don't see how that's happening.
Yeah, they seemed pretty excited about this and thought that everyone was gonna be real pumped about it, but it's not. It's not how it's looking, guys. But you know what? We'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye, everybody.
No one mourns the wicked. No one!
Leap, it's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love I guess I lost. Well, if